Hello, good evening, Yvonne. Thank you
Oh,
so
so
much for
lovely to
joining us.
see you.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Just been for a really beautiful walk up in all the autumnal leaves near the River Dart
Well,
here.
it looks absolutely amazing where you are. I love the video you sent us, like a lovely insight to your life.
Well, that's all of that energy is what I pour into the
You
canvas.
can see
And
it,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
tell us a bit about yourself. Were you always an artist, or was it in your family? How did it begin?
Well, I'm kind of the belief that everyone's an artist. I think we've all, yeah, it's true. I think we've all
Yeah.
got a sort of magic within our hearts, and it's allowing that to come to blossom. And
Mhm.
so I feel like, yes, I've always been an artist. I mean, if you look at my website, you'll see that my mum's Irish,
I
and
know, yeah.
my granddad was like an amazing accordion player, so I had a lot of music in
Okay.
my early years, and
Very creative family.
yes, yeah, and my dad
So
was a farmer, and so that kind of deep link to nature has always, yeah, always been in my life.
And
So
what part of Ireland was your mum from?
near Skibbereen, West Cork. So
Oh, lovely.
again, sort of just saturated in beauty.
Gorgeous. So I
Yeah.
presume you spent a lot of summers over there.
I used to go like twice a year. Actually, I used to go for my for the Easter holidays and for the summer holidays. I just absolutely adored my nana, and my mum was only
Oh,
18 when she had me, so I think she was sort of like, quite liked having the break as well. Now when I look back on it, so, yeah.
wow. So yeah, we'll have to get you back over then.
Oh, I go over. I've still got loads of relations, so I go over. Obviously, not at the moment because of
Yeah.
what's happening in the world, but usually I go at least once a year. So, yeah.
And how have you been coping with lockdown, and has it affected you much?
Well, I think I'm quite a sort of introverted, quite quiet person. Anyway, I mean, I prefer like really deep connections with people than big parties. So I think on some level that's kind of suited me. And again, because it is so exquisitely beautiful here, that's a really, really big resource. So yeah.
And you
Um,
have your own gallery, so I presume
I
you had to close down as well.
Yeah, we did have to. I think what's been hard for me, the challenge, is three of my children live in London, and usually I would go up at least once a month, and I haven't been able to do that. So that's been really hard. I think to not, yeah, I think I've kind of got a natural kind of gypsy soul as well to not kind of, just kind of just pop over to Greece or go to Portugal or
No, do you? You're just one of these
yeah,
easy lucky kind of, yeah,
yeah.
personalities.
I'm missing that kind of
Yeah, that's
adventure.
spontaneous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And have you found that you've been experimenting anything new in lockdown with regarding your work, or
It's definitely created a sense of spaciousness, and actually, the pieces that I'm creating for the show with you are part of a linen meadow collection, which is what you've got behind you right now. And I think the sort of spaciousness of um, the white canvas just shows the sophistication of the marks in a really, really sort of particular
Mm,
way. I think they're a really good backdrop to my 20 years of training. So,
wow. I love the way you use every type of medium, don't you? I mean, you even your fingerprints is quite a regular
yeah, well, I use
show.
rags, I use paint brushes, I use palette knives, I use my hands, I get involved. I
You put your
drip
body and
as
soul into
well.
it, don't you?
Yeah, I think one of the things um, about the way that I work is that it's definitely an alchemy of two different parts of my personality, and one of them is real kind of wild, go for it, kind of courageous. Like there's a lot of risk in the initial marks. Um, and that makes the canvas like really alive and like literally sing, and you can sort of feel the movement because the wind will carry it in a certain way, or the heat will burn something on, so it kind of has
So close
halo.
to nature.
But then the final layers, I have such painstaking attention to detail, and kind of like will try to knit it all together. So it's really it feels really complete and considered. So it's like there's a lot of different processes involved. Yeah. So.
And do you always paint outside when you can? Obviously, weather permitting.
Always, I always paint outside. For the initial layers, I always paint outside. Yeah, and actually on some works as well, because it's oil paints. Because I only work in oil paints. When water reacts with oil, it kind of leaves a certain trace, like a sort of again like a halo or a shadow, and that just becomes part of the work. So whatever the weather's doing, if it's blowing a gale or if it's like freezing cold, or it'll all kind of inform the finished piece.
Oh, that's and do you have certain areas that you go out to paint, or is it always the same
I
spot?
always paint in my studio, but my husband Mike and I do a lot of walking. So we walk along the coastlines here a lot, and also on Dartmoor a lot. So I take a lot of photographs and I sketch, and then I bring that to my studio and then pour it onto the canvas.
Wow, it looks just like so much fun as well.
It really is. It's joyous. It's like I feel very blessed to do something that's so playful.
So you must be pretty well known in your area then, as everyone knows of your work.
I think, yeah, I think so, yeah.
And how are you regarding commissions? Do you take on commissions if somebody asks you?
Yeah, and I think that's again when the galleries are really important, because you liaise with the clients in a very unique way, and I think people quite often have a vision of size or palette, and that's something they can spend discussing with you at length, and I would be really happy to execute. Sort of bringing someone's vision into manifestation is yeah, it feels like
What is the largest commission you've ever done?
the
largest commission.
probably like 2.5 meters times 1.5 meters, I think, is the largest. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so I presume you have to have a few pieces on the go all the time in order to, because the oil takes a long time.
So layered. So I'm working on a layer, and I'll usually work on collections. So I'll do a collection that have similar qualities in the initial layers, and then I'll build up the layers of paint over the following months. But because they're all at different parts of the process, I work in sort of several different ways sort of throughout the day.
Wow. Are you quite disciplined as an artist? Do you like to work a 9 to 5, or have you?
I'm not at all disciplined. I would say I will not go to my studio unless I kind of feel the force. I just don't. And I have to feel that, because otherwise it translates onto the work. You can kind of see, I think you can see that I love what I do, so I don't go until I'm sort of feeling that, because it's the way I work.
Yeah, you can always tell the personality of an artist as well by their work. It's quite clear, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think if I'm feeling, um, you know, I'm not feeling it, I'll just be creative in a different way. Like I'll cook up a feast at home or something like that. But there's a real, um, very unique energy that I wait for before I go to the studio. So yeah, and I know it. It's like yeah.
And do you have any preference of night painting or day painting? I presume if
Oh,
you're out
definitely the day.
day, yeah,
The light, everything. Yeah, the light really is everything. Even if it's like sort of pale grey or bright blue, it's informing the work.
mm, yeah. I can't imagine you ever doing any dark paintings at all.
No, I suppose I don't really, but I do stiller work, like my Dartmoor work, which is kind of lesser known. My landscapes are just stiller,
Yeah.
but they're still like rich in colour.
And did you go to art college? Did you?
I did. I trained for 5 years in Brighton. So I did
Oh,
2 years
lovely.
foundation and then a 3 year degree course. So yeah.
How did you find that?
I absolutely loved it. Yeah,
Oh,
I loved it. And again, lots of things that I experimented with during that time in my work now, whether it's like printmaking, photography,
mhm.
textile work, it's all kind of, yeah, it's all,
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
So you pretty much knew you were always going to be a full-time artist.
Sorry, when I didn't hear the
You
question.
you knew all along that you were going to be a full-time artist.
No, not necessarily. I didn't know that I was going to make my profession out of it because um, when I moved to Devon, I was a single parent with a young daughter, and had to put dinner on the table, and it was just sort of by chance. There were some quite prestigious restaurants that agreed to have my work when I moved here, and I'd never shown my work before. This was like. Um, or I'd never shown them sort of professionally before. Um, and that was like over 20 years ago when I first moved here. And they sold immediately,
Wow.
and they just continued selling, and it was just like it was, and then a small gallery opened in Modbury, and my work just exploded. It was just like people were desperate for it. So it's like it found me as a profession. I mean, I would have always painted whatever because it is my passion.
Mm.
But I again feel, deeply blessed that that's how I make my
Yeah,
living.
that's such a lovely story, actually. It's really nice. And
Yeah.
how long have you got the gallery open then?
About 4 years, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So you've three daughters, and
no,
are
no,
they sure?
I've got one daughter and three sons.
Three? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We're a bit of a postmodern family, actually, because I've been with my husband 12 years now. So we're a bit like the Brady Bunch, if anyone remembers that. I'm showing my
I
age.
do. Unfortunately, I do. I used to love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we're a merged family, and so yeah.
Any of the children following in your footsteps, do you
Well,
think?
my daughter did fine art at Wimbledon, which is like one of
Oh
the most
wow. Fab.
prestigious art colleges in the country, and
Yeah.
yeah, so she does very beautiful and very very different work to me. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, I must have a look at that. And is he creative as well, or does he still
Yes,
do the?
yes.
Are you still there? Have I lost you?
Yeah, you just cut out a little bit. Did you
Oh,
ask?
sorry. I was just asking, is your husband creative as well?
Oh, he's an amazing artist. Yeah, he's
Ah,
definitely a big influence on me. Really, really different, like, super
mm,
different. He's like, his work is and sort of stories, and yeah, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
sorry,
It's called
went
My
frozen
Joy.
on me there. You're back.
Yes.
Internet connection problems. That's pretty. So you got two artists in one household. There's no conflict then. That you don't clash with each other at all.
Oh no, not at all. I think our practice is so different, and I love the way he perceives things, and so it feels like it informs me. Yeah, we both. I'm just going to move because I'm going to plug in. I think my phone might die in a minute. But, there we go. Let me just. That's it.
Oh, I love those pieces hanging up behind you. They're fabulous.
So one of those is for the show.
Yay!
In the gallery drying at the moment. So I'm going to hope to get the images to you in the next few days. So.
And tell me, did you always have were your paintings like this 20 years ago? I mean, was it you, because you have a very distinctive style?
They were
easy to find.
When I very first started painting, they were much more abstracted, and definitely when I was in Brighton and doing my training, the work was very abstracted, and I think when I moved here and kind of immersed myself in the landscape, it just unfolded that they became sort of more representational.
It was meant to be, wasn't it? You were meant to be there. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I thank you so much, Yvonne. It's been so lovely chatting to you. And thank you for giving us the time. It's been brilliant.
Really, really lovely to see you.
And you're taking part in our Christmas show as well. So
I'm very excited about that. I've got lots of I've been painting lots of little canvases in preparation.
Brilliant. Oh, I can't wait to see them. All right. Thank you so much.
Lots of love.
And you. Bye.